Okay, now I know you guys been waiting for this, so it's about that time we add Tengen to the tier list. It's been about like 2 weeks since he's released, and I think we've seen enough of what he can do, his flaws and his strengths, to add him into the tier list. But first, real quick, this is basically the tier list I have right now before Tengen is even in it. I got the S plus, S, A plus, A, and B tier. Basically just this is what I currently think of the game right now. We got B tier characters that like basically they just need the most help. It's like no matter how high of a level you use, anyone in B tier, like they literally cannot compete with like any of the other characters for the most part. So that's B tier. A tier are the characters that have good like they basically have good things on paper, but they just needed some reworking and some like quite a few buffs to keep up with the rest of the cast to make them seem more consistent, I would say. And you got A plus tier, who the characters that like they just need a few minor buffs to make them pretty much like S tier, like they don't have that many flaws about them. And then we got the S tier that, you know, the characters are pretty dominant, consistent, like OP. And then you got S plus, which is only Kaza. We already know Kaza's S plus. That's not even a debate. He has no bad matchups. He basically has no, I feel like he has no equal matchups as well, unless he's going against himself. But I know people will debate otherwise. But anyways, we're gonna put Tengen in this tier list. Okay, so it's finally about that time we put Tengen into the tier list. I've used him against Slayers, I've used him against demons, most of the demons to be honest. So yeah, I placed him directly into A plus tier. I think he is right behind Water Tanjiro. I think that's pretty fair because I still think Water Tanjiro is extremely underrated in this game. I know a lot of people keep saying that HK Tanjiro is better than Water Tanjiro. But of course, I disagree because HK Tanjiro is only really crazy when he's like paired with Zenitsu. Other than that, by himself, he does kind of struggle in the neutral a little bit, and he takes 1.20, while Water Tanjiro takes 1.0, and he does free damage, literally the freest damage in the game. He only has like what, 3 negatives about him, or 2 negatives. He's basically just slow, and what else? And maybe his grab range is not really all that impressive. Other than that, he's like pretty much a solid character. He just needs, if he was faster, I'd put him in S tier. If he had like level 2 or maybe even level 3, level 2 or level 3, I would put him in S tier. But anyways, let's talk about Tengen. Yeah, Tengen is right behind Water Tanjiro. Now, I know people were saying like, oh, you used to say Tengen was S tier, this and that. You know, I be trolling a lot. I do say like, you know, I just mess around and be like, yeah, Tengen is S tier. But the reason why he is A plus tier, I'm gonna explain to you right now, because I think he's right above Rui and HK Tanjiro. Now we could just talk about his positives and his negatives and stuff like that, just so you guys can have more of an understanding about why I placed him here. Okay, so we all know how crazy his tilt skill is, right? I find this very annoying to deal with in the neutral game a lot because it's so fast. Tengen's tilt skill is kind of ridiculous. Now I know it can be inconsistent at times, and you need to switch tech to make it safe. It's a weird thing, but it's still the fastest starting up skill in the game, I think. To be honest, you just have to respect it. Like, you cannot just walk around Tengen and just like not block at all. Like, Tengen is just, he's fast. He's fast. You gotta respect it. Like I said, the tilt skill does pretty good damage. It's fast. The one in the air is crazy fast. Now you could stuff it a lot. For some reason, the startup frames in the air is like a bit slow, but it still can offer you great distance and get closer to your opponent whenever you need to. Yeah, it's just, this skill is like really good. I know that in most situations, like when people are jumping and you do his tilt skill, like sometimes they fall out of the tilt skill and you need to switch, so you are sacrificing a sub in order to you know, basically stay safe with Tengen. But nonetheless, the skill is still good in my opinion, just a little bit inconsistent. Now we have his regular skill. This skill is pretty great for resets. I think people kind of like like underestimated this skill in the beginning because you couldn't really do it in a combo after like a hit or two. But it's crazy resets. I'm gonna talk about the assist too. Like Tengen's probably the second or third best assist in the game because of these skills. Like he'll go in front of you, pause, and then he'll start swinging at you, and like I've misparried that so many times I lost count already. But yeah, this skill is also good for damage too. It does more damage in the air, so you know you could do that for combo enders for the most part. Mix-ups, you can switch tech out of it, grab. It's just super strong. It's like a super strong skill. And now we could talk about his dash speed. Okay, so if you guys know, he has a level 3 dash speed, the same speed as Akaza and Shinobu. This alone is basically what made him A+. Stacked onto what his skills are for, because Shinobu has a level 3 dash, but she still has to waste a lot of resources to get in, while Tengen can just do his tilt skill and get in for free. But this like level 3 dash is like the best thing to have in the game, especially for a Slayer, like a good Slayer at that. So yeah, this automatically put him in A+ tier, like I predicted. Like as soon as Tengen was gonna be released in the game, he was gonna have a fast dash, like regardless. So he was gonna automatically be A tier. Like you see his grab. Everybody says his grab is kind of bad, but it has a pretty big hitbox. It's pretty good. The recovery is the only thing that's bad about it. It's like really terrible, but since he's so fast, it kind of makes up for it. Now his grab damage isn't really that good, so it's kind of on the mid end. He also had his guard skill, which is terrible. This is the worst thing about him. Honestly, if this had like more range and more recovery, you know, I would probably make his guard skill. I'll probably put him up like a higher, above Water Tundra maybe, but not just that alone. You got his heavy, which is really good. His heavy is great. It's probably the second best heavy out of the Slayers, maybe even first. Well, tied with Zenitsu, I would say. So yeah, I basically explained like the minor details. I think you just needed to know like his skills in general, or what they do in the neutral game. You gotta respect his tilt skill, although can be a bit inconsistent. You still have to respect it regardless. He has good resets. His grab mix can be good for the resets. He's fast. Like Tengen, his assist is crazy. So all those points add up and make him about this far in the game. A lot of people were saying in the middle of A tier, but like I said, I just disagree. I think he's better than HK and Rui. HK, like I said, he needs to have like Zenitsu to even be remotely like cracked. Other than that, by himself, he could be good with Murata too as well. But other than that, by himself, he just doesn't get the job done as well, being as though his skills can be a bit inconsistent, like dropping sometimes. And since he takes 1.20, that's just the icing on the cake right there. But yes, Tengen takes 1.15. This is the highest I would ever put him, unless he gets some type of buff. Like I said, he can be a bit inconsistent. His damage is pretty average. It's pretty averagey, I would say. Like I think his optimals can do a little bit more than Gyu optimals. Without Dead Calm, of course. So yeah, I think this is a good spot to put him at in the overall tier list. So if you guys want to pick up Tengen, I advise you to use him with Nezuko and Zenitsu. Like I said, if you want to be a Slayer main and if you're not using Zenitsu or Nezuko on the team, you are highly handicapping yourself. To be fair, if you want to compete with the top 3 demons at the highest level, Tengen can compete, and I think any A+ tier can compete to an extent. With the meta of the game, instead of like the A tier or the B tier, they struggle way more than the A+ tier and stuff like that. Besides Rui is a special case. Rui can pretty much fight all of the Slayers. Like he's really good against Slayers. Switch tech can mess him up sometimes if he does like the guard skill or whatnot, but he still has great neutral, and the Slayers, you know, they struggle to get in on a good Rui. Rui is definitely underrated for a fact, and he belongs in this tier. So I think that's about it. In my last tier list, if you guys do like, if you are subscribed to me, you would know that I'd be posting my tier list. I posted it a while ago about my latest tier list, and I moved a couple of characters around. I know I was talking about Sakonji might be better than Gyu, but I weighed the pros and cons and stuff like that, and Gyu is definitely still better. I dropped Gyu down to A tier because of how inconsistent he is, on top of having a level 1 speed and All his other flaws we already talked about. I moved Sabuto up to A tier because I've been playing with him a little bit more, and I don't think he's as bad as Makomo and Yushiro. Even though I think Makomo is still good, she's just way too inconsistent, and she just needs a whole rework, and so does Yushiro. He needs some type of huge buff that'll put him up in A tier, or at least in the middle of A tier, hopefully. But other than that, I think everyone as a community agrees on the rest of the placements. I know I'm curious to see what you guys think about Tengen, because right now I still think he's A+. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. If you guys want to talk more about anything in the comments, we could talk about it more. Let me know. I think I said everything. Tengen, great tilt skill, great speed, good grab, just bad recovery on guard skill and the grab. Other than that, tilt skill can be a little bit inconsistent, but switch tech is a thing, and even if people block it, you can switch tech grab, switch tech break the guard. His assist is just crazy as well. It's good mix, good pressure. Basically on par with Murata and Nezuko. The only thing he takes 1.15, unfortunately, but he also takes less poison from like poison characters. So yeah, other than that, like that's what I think about Tengen. He's almost as strong as Water Tanjiro. Water Tanjiro just has less negatives than him. Even though Tengen can fight the meta better than Water Tanjiro due to his level 3 speed and his tilt skill, I think Water Tanjiro is a bit more consistent, and he takes 1.0 and he just has free damage. Water Tanjiro is just underrated in my opinion. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video.